All right, while I'm waiting for this to populate, I'm just going to draw some cards. Hope everybody is doing good. Hey, what's up, Mom? Can you hear me okay? Card that comes up for you, Mom, is protection. This is just saying that there is somebody looking out for you. Knowing you, it's probably Grandpa. Just letting you know that although things may be challenging for you at times, people are still looking out for you and want you to know that you are cared for and protected. What's up, Lee? How are you doing? Would you like a card? So let's see, party people. I'm on here for the next 30 minutes, so let's keep this fun and entertaining for us all. Okay, Lee. I'm going to give you a tarot card and see what comes up. That's good. Happy to hear that. 3 of Wands for you comes up in reverse. This is about negligence, carelessness, or setbacks. There's some aspect of something that you haven't been addressing or confronting, and this is suggesting that you should begin to take action on it. If you look at the card, there's 2 different paths here in the upright position, and it's saying that you need to make more commitment to one specific path is the way that I would take it. So take that action that you've been procrastinating on. I don't know what it is, but that's the suggestion. So let's see. Who else is here with us? Is it just Mom and Lee, or does anybody else want a card? It's going to be a quick live. Nobody else is asking questions. Come on now. Don't be shy. Yeah, Tabitha, I got you. Happy to hear that, Lee. Thanks for checking it out. Tabitha, you got 6 of Cups in reverse. So 6s are about emotion. 6s are about growth. I'm sorry. Cups are about emotions. This is really about what's the word I'm looking for? Reconciliation and acceptance. There's some aspect of your life from the past that this is asking you to reconcile or accept, or it's saying that you're moving into a position of accepting something might have otherwise been challenging. The upright meaning of that card traditionally is nostalgia or innocence. So this is you accepting some aspect of your past in order for you to move forward. Because I think a lot of the work that most of us have to do on a regular basis is actually in regards to stuff from the past. What's up, Frankie? How you doing? You want a card, brother? Yeah, Sandy. I'll grab a card for you too. We're just hanging out. Let me grab a card for Frankie, and then I'll do one for you, Sandy. Frankie, Ace of Arrows. This is Ace of Swords in traditional tarot. This is about power, victory, or clarity. Aces are about potential. Swords are about the mind. This is letting you know that once you make your mind up to something, stick with it, because you have the power to actually achieve a lot of the things that you want, as long as you can maintain that clarity and put forth the action. This is an incredibly good card if you have long-term goals, or if you have things that you want to accomplish. This is saying stick with it. Just keep putting in daily energy towards it, and good things will come. All right, Sandy, let me shuffle this again for you and see what comes up. Sandy, you got 9 of arrows. Tabitha, yeah, you can. If you donate for a reading, I'll give you extra cards too. 9s are about fruition. Arrows are relative to swords. This is swords are relative to the mind. This is largely about recuperation. This is about depression and anxiety and despair in traditional tarot, is what I actually mean to say. But in this deck here, It's actually about dedication. And it's saying if you can stick through with what you're passionate about or what you're trying to achieve or what you want, you can actually overcome that depression, anxiety, and despair and get some of the outcomes that you want. And that's dedication, right? Sticking with something even when it's uncomfortable. Tabitha, yeah, you can ask a specific question, especially if you donate. If you donate, you can actually get a couple extra cards. But yeah, shoot and ask your question. Yeah, no worries. I'm just hanging out. I'm on here for like 30 minutes, so if anybody else who hasn't had a card pulled wants a card, you're more than welcome to get one. And in case people wondering who I'm talking to, this is also pulled up on YouTube as well, and on Facebook on a couple different platforms. So you can't see all the messages that I see. No, I'm just playing. Quiet night tonight, right? I'm going to draw another card for my mom. Balance in reverse comes up. This is saying there's some imbalance or some excess that you need to kind of address, and it might be relative to slowing down your pace a little bit, and all of that good stuff. Okay, Tabitha. Nephew, I'll draw a card for you too after I do Tabitha. Let me see here. Hey, Tracy. OSR. I don't even remember what OSR is. I'm sorry. That's awesome, though. Thank you so much. I'm trying to think what OSR is. Okay, Tabitha, what's your question? And Neffy, I'm going to draw a card for you while we're waiting for Tabitha to ask her specific question. Neffy, you have Ace of Stones in reverse. This is Ace of Cups. This is about superficiality or rejection. This is saying that you're not accessing some aspect of your full emotions. And there's a level of rejecting your own truth or rejecting your own feelings. Oh, okay, Ohio State Reformatory. That was an awesome venue. Tabitha, what actions will take towards you coming forward or move on? He's Sag, you're Cancer. Given the cards that come up, you have the Devil card. This is traditionally about addiction, unhealthy relationships, codependency. So it shows them potentially trying to maintain a connection to you. Maintain a connection to you despite it being unhealthy. It's more so about what they want, and it's usually not healthy. Then Seven of Wands comes up, or Seven of Bows in this deck. This is largely about competition and perseverance is the best way to put it. So it's showing him continuing to try to persevere despite you might not wanting those advances and not wanting that attention. It shows them pushing forward. And then the next card that comes up, Six of Cups in reverse. This is honestly about restoration and acceptance. And another way you could look at this card too, especially in this regard, would be like clinging and attachment. It's not letting the situation pass. So I feel that he's going to move forward, like come towards you. But I also don't think it's coming from the right energy for it to be healthy for anybody. I have a feeling he's probably one of these hot and cold people, and this is somebody that you wish would stay cold so you can move on and find a healthier connection. That's based upon these cards. Tabitha, I'm going to do one more thing for you, and then we'll see who else comes on. Tracy, I'll draw a card for you next if you'd like. Tabitha, I'm going to give you what's called a quintessence card. We add these cards up. We look at the numerical value of it. Hot and cold people are usually no's is the best way to look at it. 15 plus 7 is 22. 22 plus 6 is 28. 2 plus 8 is 10. That's the Wheel of Fortune. That's about karma, destiny, and good luck. the way that I would take this is you would be fortunate if things kind of ended, right? Like let it go is the best way that I would put it. Because even if he comes towards you, it is going to be this hot and cold thing on and on. It's all at his whim. You're better off cutting it off. And if you reduce that card down once more, you end up with one. That's the Magician. The Magician is about power and action. It ultimately says you have the power to do what you want with the circumstance, but he's always going to kind of give you the same responses. Yeah, just move on, Tabitha. And if you ever want like other readings, I offer them on my Etsy too, or I do like live private readings. Tracy, let's see what comes up for you. Tracy, you got 8 of Cups. Eights are about change. Cups are about emotions. This card is largely about escapism and disappointment in traditional tarot. In this deck, it is called Rebirth. And the best way that I would resolve this is sometimes we need to escape some of the challenges of life so we can recreate ourselves and get different results. So you might need a little bit of escapism in your life right now is the best way to put this so you can kind of be reborn. And you're welcome, Tabitha. Thank you as well. Yeah, hot and cold people like that are super confusing, Tabitha. It's one of those things. That's why it's better just to let them go, because it can make you miserable trying to make sense of their actions, and nobody deserves that, right? Let's see. 7:12. We got a little bit more time here. We got like 18 more minutes. This is one of the quietest ones I've had. Anybody else want a card? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah, I don't have Facebook on my phone anymore, so I can't creep on who else is watching me and just call people out that are watching and not talking. So it's kind of disappointing. I'm just going to draw some general cards in. You, Romance Mom. Oh, wow. Ten of Stones. Tens are about completion. Stones is about the material world. This is largely about wealth and establishment. In some ways, I find this card ironic because at one point in my life, I remember you saying that you don't necessarily want a partner, that your family is sufficient for you. And in some ways, I find this card ironic that it's saying that that's kind of what you get in some regard. But the other way that I would look at it is once you square away some more things with yourself, because you've spent so much of your life living for other people, it might be more possible for you to find a partner. But I think it's honestly taking the next year of your life and really figuring out what you want and getting more clear. What's up, Tamara? How are you doing? Tamara, would you like a card? While we're waiting for Tamara, I'm going to draw a general card. Core healing, this is kind of for everybody. It's just suggesting taking a little bit of time and loving yourself a little bit more deeply. And if you have any wounds that you haven't addressed, just giving them a little bit of nurture and attention. Okay. I'm just going to draw a card for tomorrow while we're hanging out. Tamara, you got the Devil card. This is on a personal level. It's about facing the challenges within yourself. In this deck in particular, I would take it as overcoming the things that prevent you from looking at the areas of your life that are unpleasant. Oftentimes, like in this deck, it's called the Guardian. And what is the Guardian protecting you from? Most often, a lot of fears and trauma that need resolved. But once you go in and look at that stuff, there's a lot of liberation and freedom that comes from it, as long as you don't get kind of sucked into the abyss of all of it. Because it's easy to make yourself a pet project that then becomes impossible to like be compassionate towards yourself. I hope that makes sense. Dina, yeah, I got you. And for anybody checking this out, if you don't mind sharing it, that would be greatly appreciated too. Dina, you got the Ancestor, or this is Hierophant in traditional tarot. This is largely about tradition and belief and connection to spirit. This is asking you to kind of really check into your what's the word I'm looking for? Check in with yourself, see what traditions help you, and see what traditions separate you from getting what you want in life, and begin to make different choices. Okay, I just saw that you said love card, Dina. So the way I would take this in regards to love is look at some of your patterns in relationships that you go after and make sure that those aren't the actual things that prevent you from getting the relationships that you want. And then also look at your beliefs of what relationships are to make sure that you're actually in the real awareness of it. A lot of people have misunderstanding about what relationships are. I know I have for the very time, and the older I get and the more I look at it, that all of it changes. And the final piece of this is most often we fall in patterns of dating people that are the exact thing that we don't need in our life because we haven't addressed some issues within ourselves to get what we actually need. What's up, Maria? What's up, Zenny? Yeah, I can put a reading in here tomorrow. Let me see. Okay, I don't know. Tomorrow, are you on my Facebook page, or I think you must be. Hold on one second. Some of the messaging on this is wonky with how it is. But it's etsy.com/shop/spiritualfoenix shop. Let me see if that works. Zenny or Maria, do you want a card? Yeah, Maria, I'm just drawing cards right now, hanging out. I'm on for like the next 12 minutes or so. Okay, Maria, you got the Ace of Swords or Ace of Arrows in this deck in reverse. Um, this is about disruption, entropy, and chaos. And the way that I take this is because swords are about the mind, this is saying there's some aspect of having some challenges with things going on. Obviously, with the state of the world right now, it's pretty easy to see why your mind might be a mess. And especially if there's other issues going on at home, but it's saying you're not utilizing your full power and you're squandering some of your potential. So you might need to find some way to better channel your energy so you can get better results, right? If you don't have control of your mind will control you. And that can take you to some dark places. Zenny, did you want a card? You're welcome tomorrow. I have a sale on my Etsy right now too. So if anybody else wants to check out my Etsy, all my readings are 10% off right now. Oh. The bad thing about doing this is it is so hot in this room and I can't have the air conditioning on because it was like whoosh. If I have it on, y'all hear it the whole time. Yeah, Maria, just give yourself a break. I honestly think one of the things that most of us need right now is just some rest and relaxation. So Maria, the readings are I do 3-minute video recording for $14.99, 10-minute video recording for $34.99, and then I offer 30-minute readings for $65. A little bit pricey, but I put a lot of time into how I do everything, and I read differently than most people too. Pardon me real quick. I got to go blow my nose. Here, Maria, I'll put a link to my store in the YouTube comments too. Etsy.com/shop. There you go. Anybody else who hasn't had a card already want a card? We have 9 more minutes. The air conditioner is actually in my bedroom, Mom, so I can't go turn it on. I should just leave it in here. Christine. Yeah, I'll get you a card. I'm glad this is actually working because sometimes I get more people from Facebook, but tonight it seems like I'm getting more people from YouTube. So, Christine, you have the Queen of Swords in the reverse. Queens are about influence. Swords are about the mind. There's not a nice way that I can say what this card means in reverse, so bear with me. Typically, it's about spite, snobbery, or elitism. There's some aspect of maybe thinking more highly of a situation or yourself than you might have evidence for. And there might be some need for humility in a certain situation. I don't know if it's work or romance, but there might be a need to honestly evaluate your assets and some of your liabilities so you can show up a little bit more humble. Not a very pleasant card to give somebody for their first reading, but I also try to say exactly what the card means and not try to sugarcoat it. So sorry about that. Please forgive me. I really feel like that's the expression of pulling your card. Like, sorry for pulling your card. Oh, you just did a random search on YouTube. That's cool. I'll take it. Just so you know, if you're not too burned by this first one, I'm glad you have some like a sense of humor about it. I do this every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you ever want to tune back in, Christine, or anybody else on YouTube that's watching it, you can always check me. Yeah, Lee, I really do try to be straightforward. I feel like a lot of people want to say something powerful or like want to sugarcoat everything. And for me, it's a lot more helpful to tell people what the card actually says. And it helps people grow and expand if they look at it this way. I view tarot as a tool of personal development and like self-education and self-awareness. So it's more that than fortune telling, and reading the way that I do is actually a lot more helpful for people making big changes in their life. Tarot has completely changed my life for the better, and that's how I try to offer it for people, I guess. I'm going to draw another general card. Open heart comes up. The open heart aspect of this is super cool because the more that you open your heart up, the more you understand that maybe some of the things that other people view as negative or difficult or challenging actually are gifts, kind of like the conversation we were just having about difficult experiences or saying what the card says. When you open your heart up to actually hearing constructive criticism or looking at things differently, you can begin to look at life in a more meaningful and deep way. What's up, Jess? How you doing? Long time no see. I definitely got a card for you. That's a wild thing in this, is like getting to see people that I know in real life too, right? Jess, you have the 9 of Swords come up. 9s are about fruition. Swords are about the mind. This is your mind leading you somewhere. In traditional tarot, this is about depression, anxiety, and despair. In this deck, it's about dedication, and it's saying continuing on despite some of those feelings. Although we haven't talked in a while, I know that there was times where you had some issues with some depression or things like that. This is saying that dedication from that has actually sharpened you and made you a better, stronger person on one hand, but it's also saying stay dedicated to what's meaningful and worthwhile for you, especially despite how challenging these times are. I think the aspect of dedication is incredibly important. So stick to your guns is the best way I can say it. That's good that you're good. Good, good. So, anybody else? We got 4 more minutes. Happy to draw a card for 1 or 2 more people. Dude, it's weird. Cards come up pretty accurate for a lot of people, and I don't take it as anything that I'm personally doing. I actually think the one thing that I do is try to get out of the way and just say what's on the cards and let the universe tell people what it's supposed to hear if they're open to it. Like, that's my job, is to not get in the way of the process. Because I'm not trying to tell anybody anything meaningful or anything like that. Literally just saying what the card says. Hello. Dahiri Matakar, all the way from Periscope. It's interesting when people pop in on Periscope. Dahiri, you're going to get a card. You got Knight of Arrows. This is Knight of Swords in traditional tarot in reverse. Knights are relative to motion, swords relative to the mind. This is about the war path, aggression, or hostility. Dahiri, no, this is live. You're on candid camera, bro. Or ma'am. I don't know what gender that name is, so no offense. But this card is about being on a war path or being aggressive or hostile. So it's about learning to slow down and be a little bit more compassionate or kind. And if you're on the receiving end of that, it's asking you to get out of the way of it. All right, Lee, I'm going to draw one more card for you, and then I guess I'm going to call it a night if nobody else hops on between now and then. Lee, 8 of Pentacles comes up. This is about education and engagement. It's saying right now one of the things you could really do is spend some time learning a new skill on one hand, or increasing your information about something that would benefit your life greatly. And if you're interested, I have the Mystic Mentorship that I offer, which is a 4-week program where it helps people learn to tune into themselves better. I am building a class actually teaching people tarot, framework for tarot, which nobody actually teaches, and some other good stuff like that. So if you need education, I might know a guy, right? The other aspect of this too, though, is skill in this deck, and it's about learning to hone your own ability to a precise level to where it is beautiful and helpful. So with all of that, you're welcome, Dahuri. Hope I said your name right again. I'm doing my best here. Anybody else going once, going twice? I'll do one more card. You're welcome, Lee. I'll do one more card. What's up, Praveen? Let's see. Will you get in this month? Cards actually say yes for that. Just keep an open mind to it. And it says you actually got the education card too, even though I just shuffled it. And it really just says make sure you're brushing up on your skills. Anyhow, everybody, thank you so much for your time. If you're interested, you can definitely leave donations. If the reading was helpful, it's appreciated, not necessary. You can check out my Etsy if you like, or any of that other good stuff. So thank you all. Peace.